Hi, third grade artists. Today we are going to be reviewing the color wheel and making an I for a color wheel so that you can say that I know the color wheel. So what you'll need is go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and then we'll get started. So I've got a square piece of paper here, but you can use a different shape if you want. So you can start with just a football shape. So the shape of an I is sort of like an oval, but it's a little bit pointed on the two ends, or like a football. So I'm going to make this super big on my paper. So I've got one curve, and then I'm going to do the opposite as if I were to flip that line over and curve it down on the other side. So now you can see I've got my big football shape for my eyeball. So if you look at your eye, there's a white part of your eye, and then there's a circle that's whatever color your eye is, and then inside of that there's another circle that's black. So that circle that's colored, so mine is brown, that is called your iris. So that's just the colored part of your eye, and then the very middle of your eye, the black part, is your pupil. That's the part that you see out of. So let's draw our iris. So we're going to draw a big circle that meets from the top all the way down to the bottom. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. So there is my iris that I've drawn, that big circle in there. You can see it's not quite a perfect circle. That's okay. Okay, so our iris is actually going to be the part that we make into our color wheel. So what we need to do is we're going to first draw an X just inside of our circle, inside of our iris. So I'm going to draw one line here to start my X, and then one line over here for the other side of my X. Okay, so I've got an X right through my iris. So now we just need to draw one more straight line, and I'm going to draw mine straight across. That goes right through this middle part of my X, straight across to the other side. So now let's count how many sections we have on our color wheel. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's enough for the primary colors and the secondary colors. So let's review the primaries and secondaries. So do you remember what the primary colors are? There's 3 of those. Right, so the primary colors, we have red is one of them, blue is another, and yellow is our final primary color. So the primary colors are the 3 colors that have different color combinations that you mix them together. So for instance, if we were to mix red with blue, what color would we get? Right, we'd get purple. So we mix 2 primary colors in order to get one of our secondary colors. So what if we mixed blue with yellow instead? What color would we get? Right, green. We would get green. So this is our second secondary color. So we have purple and green as 2 of our secondary colors, and there's one more color combination of mixing 2 of those primary colors to get a secondary color. So what if we mixed red and yellow? What color would we get? Orange. That's our third primary color. So again, our primaries are blue, yellow, and red. And our secondary colors are mixing blue and red to get purple, mixing yellow and blue to get green, and mixing red and yellow to get orange. So these are our primary colors and our secondary colors that we got mixing 2 of the primaries together. So on our iris, if you have paints to do this with, and you can actually mix your red paint with your yellow paint to make orange and do that for all your other secondary colors, that would be amazing. If you do not have paints, you can just use markers or crayons or colored pencils, whatever it is that you have at your house. So I'm going to go ahead and color in my primary colors on my color wheel. So here's something that's really important. When you color in your primary colors, you can start wherever you want. So I'll go ahead and start with the red. So I started with my red. I just colored it over here, but you could start the red wherever you wanted to. So now if I wanted to do yellow as my next color that I want to use, my other primary color, can I just put it right here? No, because we know that there's a color that mixes red. When you mix red and yellow, you would get a color in between them. So you need to leave a white space for one of your secondary colors in between your primary colors. So I have my red here. So in order to put another primary color, I would have to skip over and do it on where there's a white space in between those colors. So I could put yellow here or I could put blue here. It doesn't matter which one I do. So I'll go ahead and put yellow here. So now I've got red, a blank space for my secondary color, that red and yellow mixed together, and then yellow. So now I want to put blue. So where do I have to put blue? There's only one spot I can put it. Right, it has to go right here, right? Because we can't put it right next to yellow because we know that yellow mixes with blue to make another color. It makes green, right? And then here, we can't put the blue here because we know that red mixes with blue to make another color that would need to go here, which would be purple. So I have to put blue right here. Okay, so now I have my three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, with a white space in between to put the secondary colors that those colors mix to go in between them. All right, so let's start up at the top. What color do red and yellow mix together to make again? Orange. So I will take my orange, and if you don't have an orange but you do have your red and yellow, you can color yellow over this spot and then color red on top of it. And since those colors mix to make orange, that'll make that marker color kind of turn orange. So I'm going to add my orange right in this space between the red and the yellow. All right, so now I've got my red, orange, and yellow. So now here's this blank space. What would I put here? Well, I would put right here whatever color is in between yellow and blue. So what do yellow and blue mix to make? They mix to make green. So again, if you don't have a green, you can just color yellow in this spot and then color blue on top of it, and that'll make green. All right, so I only have one spot left. So that is right over here in between red and blue. So what am I going to put here? The color that red and blue mix together to make is purple. So that's what I'm going to put right there. All right, so now that you have your iris all colored in, this is the part that gets really fun where you get to use your creativity. So you can outline your eye and even outline the iris with a black marker or a black Sharpie or whatever color you want to make it stand out even more. And then you can add a smaller circle right in the middle for that pupil that's on the inside of our iris that we talked about, the part that you see with. And then you can even add different things like eyelashes. You can add an eyebrow if you have room to. And if you want to cut out your eye and then glue it down on another piece of paper, and then you can draw the rest of someone's face or something, then you can do that too. So here is where you get to be really creative. So I'm going to finish up my eye and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. All right, so I finished up my eye. You see I added some more details after outlining it. I even added some little red blood vessels inside of my eye and added a bunch of eyelashes and then the top part of the eyelid and then the little lines down here below the eye. So you don't have to do all these details. You can do whatever you want with your own eye color wheel. So hopefully this was a good review for you to remember our primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and remember the secondary colors and which primary colors you use to mix those secondary colors, purple, orange, and green. All right, don't forget to fill out the Google form, and if you can, please upload an image of your artwork. I would love to see it. All right. Thanks, artists.